don't think that you need to wait for motivation to make things shake. Because motivation is a myth. You don't need motivation at all. You need discipline. Discipline is everything. Hey everyone, welcome y'all. It is my birthday. I've never done a birthday live before, so we'll see how it goes. But I'm gonna be doing my makeup, y'all. I am on vacation and we're about to go to breakfast and everything. So I'm like, let me go ahead and do this real quick and share some reflections now that I'm a part of the 40 and over club. This is like an elite place to be. This is an elite place to be, y'all. So I'm excited to be here and make it to 40 years old because things are just not guaranteed. But I'm excited to be here and make it to, because I've been wanting to turn 40 for like the past like 3 years. Like, just get me out of the 30s, child, because it has been a mess, in my opinion, child. I mean, not a complete mess, because my 30s was good to me. My 30s, I had my children, I got married. I did, a lot of great things in my 30s. It still was a little bit of a tragedy, though. I'm going to tell y'all the truth. So we're going to just go ahead and do this makeup. We're going to put these eyebrows on. And I'm going to tell y'all what I'm using just in case you care. I'm using Anastasia. So, yeah, I'm excited. So actually this morning, we just want to get into it. This morning, I did a release of identity. So if anybody is like, I am trying to like quantum leap this year, I'm trying to be like a different version, next level version of me. Like, as if anyone has been going through it and you're like, my situation needs to change. The first thing that needs to change is actually your identity. And so I've been working on this for the past like year, try to make this like identity shift so I can come out of, the environment, the mental environment that I've been in. So y'all know I've been going through this divorce for about 4 years now. 4 years. Yeah, it's crazy. My divorce is lasting longer than some marriages. But anyway, and so that has been one thing that I've been working on, is this identity shift and just really wanting to get to Janice 2.0. And so what I've been doing, right? So let me just give you the chat prompt. If you use ChatGPT, you can create your own prompt for like your identity shift. Like, who's the person that you want to become? What does she do on a daily basis? How does she speak? Where does she go? Like the whole breakdown, right? You put this into your chat prompt, and chat will give you a whole version, new level up version of yourself. Like, I put this in chat and chat gave me Janice 2.0. I have a different name for her. So you use that prompt, guys, and you literally say this prompt every single morning to yourself in the mirror. And this practice is called mirroring. I talked about this before on my page. And if you're a subscriber, I also talk about this in like my little subscriber group. So that was the first thing that I did. But yeah, basically, I just wanted to come on and just kind of share some reflections and how I am really positioning this new decade that I'm entering. And then also share some lessons learned to my younger sisters. Because I think that, when we get to new levels, that we should always be sharing our reflections. So I have a few reflections that I want to share too. My younger girlies, the first thing I will say is I'm very blessed to be where I am right now in my 40s, entering my 40s. Like, I feel like I'm entering my 40s Really blessed, really fortunate, and really accomplished. Why? Because I worked really, really hard during my 20s and my 30s. Like those decades, I built things and I worked really, really hard. So in my 20s, y'all, I went to school, graduated, had a business degree, graduated, great GPA. So I worked very hard in college, interned, then worked for the US Treasury Department, and then opened my store. So I opened the first Black owned store in my community when I was 24 years old. So at 24 years old, before my quarter century celebration, right, I had done something that most people at that time haven't done. And most of my friends were working their job. And so it was kind of unconventional, especially the time where I opened my store during the recession, the mortgage crisis. So especially at a time where I opened my store, it was just really unconventional and just like, girl, what? And entrepreneurship back then wasn't as popular as it is now. So like, you starting a business was kind of like weird. Like, how did you go to, business school, St. John's business school, and now you're like not doing anything in finance? You're not a finance girly. Although I did enjoy my finance stint, and I still enjoy doing finance these days. Like I still trade stocks and stuff like that. I'm still very much into the market. I knew that I wanted to do other things. And so I opened my beauty supply store, which most of y'all know that story. I opened my beauty supply store, and we had those stores for all of my 20s, actually. So I had those stores for over 8 years. And at the end of my 20s, tail end of my 20s, your girl got engaged, child. Got engaged. And by the time I was entering my 30s, I was getting married and having my first kid. So my 20s, I worked. So I worked very hard in my 20s. I built something very, very amazing. And I got into, the beauty supply industry. And then by the time I got into my 30s, it was just like, it was different. When I got into my 30s, like I said, I was a like new wife, new mom, both titles literally at the same time, which I do not suggest if you can, right? So it was a lot happening when I entered my 30s. It was a lot happening when I entered my 30s. And I feel like it was just like, girl, it's a lot happening. And I also retired my beauty supply stores. I decided to retire my stores and pursue consulting because I was doing both, like at the tail end. So yeah, we are on vacation. They're like, come on, we want to go to breakfast and everything. Yeah. So my first reflection, y'all, is the fact that discipline equals freedom. You're never gonna go wrong. This is for my younger people. You're never gonna go wrong with discipline. And I'm very, very happy that I didn't treat my 20s like how most people treat their 20s, like just like partying and going wild, doing the things. And if you did that, it's cool. But if you are in your 20s, I say that this is the time to work hard. 20s is the time to work hard, like get your education and all of that, because I do still think like getting the education is really important. I know there's some people who are like, oh, it's like a waste of money, especially people who are entrepreneurs. But I definitely, if I had to do it over, I would still go get my education and still pursue what I want to do with my degree. And I would still do things the same way. I definitely believe that, especially people of color, like we should have some type of degree. That's just me. That's just my opinion. Okay. So that is my first biggest reflection, is that the reason why I can have this level of freedom and pretty much kind of create my schedule the way I want to create my schedule, be at the events with my children during the day and kind of do what I want to do, is when I was in my 20s and I was in my 30s, I was shooting in the gym, baby. I was working hard and I was taking no vacations, and I was very intentional about what I like, the life that I wanted to live and what I wanted to create for myself. And I did this without any type of motivation. And so the first thing I would say for anyone who are in your 20s or whatever, or your 30s, like, don't think that you need to wait for motivation to make things shake. Because motivation is a myth. You don't need motivation at all. You need discipline. Discipline is everything. And having mentors and having structure and those things also help along the way. I when I was in my 20s, guys, and I worked so hard. I had like several jobs and I had a business, and I just was very, very, very focused on just getting through that season of working hard, because I knew I wasn't going to be in that like season forever. Like I knew it wasn't going to be forever. So in your 20s, don't squander your 20s. Make sure you use your 20s to work so that when you have your harvest season, which is your 40s and later, you'll be able to do what you want to do. Okay. That's reflection number one. Reflection number two has to do with seasons, not so much, not so much like balance, because we talk a lot about balance. So like in my 30s, I feel like I started to really understand what seasons really look like and how to like rest in different seasons. Like everything does not have to be up and stuck. Like life is going to happen. And at this big age, so I'm like kind of giving you reflections from my 30s. I experienced death in my 30s. A lot of terrible things happened in my 30s. I filed for divorce in my 30s, still going through that divorce, but it's all good. But life happens. And so when you understand that there's seasons, so there's times where it's gonna be up and stuck and everything is gonna be going good and life is gonna be good. And then there's seasons where life is gonna throw you a curveball, and you just have to understand that it's just a season. This is just a moment in time. Like this doesn't have to take out your entire day. It doesn't have to take out your entire week, your entire month, or your entire year. When I filed for divorce, I allowed it to take out 2 years, like 2 years. And really, if I just was able to sit down and reflect and just to understand, like this is a tough season. It's uncomfortable, but I don't have to be miserable the whole time. I don't have to rush my healing and rush the grief stage. Like, just this is a season. So you're in a season of grief. Be in the season and honor the season. You may be in a season of healing. Be in the season and honor the season. I wanted to, especially the healing part, because we talk about healing a lot, especially as Black women. We talk about healing a lot, and there's times where we just have to be in the season and understand that we can't rush healing and we can't rush our grief stage and the sadness stage and the rage, and like it's okay to be in that season and to honor that season and understand that it does not have to take you out. Just see it for what it is, and let's just process everything and move forward. And life is going to happen at all times. Like the devil is real, y'all. You can be having a great day and a great moment in a great year, and then next year all hell starts to break loose. So it's all about the pivot, and it's all about just understanding that this is just a moment in time. This is just a season, and this too shall pass. This too shall pass. release expectations. Like there was seasons, I'll give you an example. Like there was seasons like in business where it was slower than other years, right? And instead of just honoring that this is just a slow season and let me just pivot and just focus on being with my kids and focus just on me because it's slow and we don't have business like that. That's just going to happen, right? Business is always up and down. Just honor the season that you're in and just rest in it. So when it was a season where it was more about me focusing on my kids and being a mom, just focusing on family and things of that nature, focusing on self-development, right? In slow seasons, literally you have to focus on yourself and developing yourself. I was just rushing to get out of it. I was just rushing, and I just really wish I just honored the season more and just rested in the fact that I have the opportunity to now spend more time with my kids because I have less business. I have the opportunity to spend more time with myself because I have less business, and just honor the season and just chill and relax. Okay, it's a season. This too, what we say, this too shall pass. Okay, so honor your seasons. That's reflection number two, y'all. Honor your seasons, honor your healing stages, because this too shall pass. Okay. The other thing that I want to say is that you got to also understand when you have to sever ties in different relationships, like letting things go, like letting friendships go when they have expired and you're in a different season, letting relationships go. In my 30s, like I said, I filed for divorce, and I didn't file for divorce one time. I actually filed twice. Okay, twice. And when it's time to let people go. You know when it's time, like, to let a friend go. And I literally have like friends for like 20 years that were super toxic, and because I know them since I was like a kid, I would have those people in my life. And the same thing for that marriage. It's like I knew by year one that this wasn't it. Like I knew this wasn't it, but I didn't trust myself enough to, you know, let it go completely. And I paid a heavy price. Same thing with, the friend that I had for 20 years and was extremely toxic. It was a really toxic friendship. Like, there were moments where I saw like my future and the things that I want to do is being placed on pause because I'm not letting certain relationships go. Like, my growth is being stunted, literally stunted, because I'm not releasing certain relationships. And again, we all have people in our lives. It could be family members, it could be friends, it could whatever, that we just understand that this is the relationship has an expiration, and that's just what it is. That's just life. And that's another lesson that I learned in my 30s, is that as soon as you understand that something has expired, like, honor it and then let it go, guys. Honor it and then let it go, because the longer you keep holding on to something that God does not want you to have, a relationship that God does not want you to be in, you will pay a hefty price, okay, for being out of alignment with these relationships. And like, literally, a relationship can stunt your growth years being in a bad relationship. And I'm not just talking about romantic one. I'm talking about friendships, all the things, okay? Play stupid games, win stupid prizes, okay? Play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Last thing I'm gonna share with y'all, and then I need to jump off this live. You're not meant to do this alone. Get you a tribe, get you a real good tribe, get you a real good community. Once I started getting in certain communities and certain circles and hiring certain coaches and being in certain masterminds, that is when things really took off for me, personally and professionally. And so, if you are not in a community or an environment where it's supportive and people are progressive and moving forward and ambitious, if you're not in that environment, you may have to pay to be in that environment. You may have to pay to be in that environment. So when I started investing in myself at a higher level, and I started investing in coaches, and I started investing in masterminds with other people, Black men and women who are ambitious, that's when I started to really elevate. Your environment is everything. That's probably going to be my last reflection. Your environment is everything. I hear a lot of times when people are like, yeah, once I moved out of my hometown and I moved to a different state, that's when things skyrocketed for me. That's when everything changed. Everyone always talking about moving to Atlanta. I am not moving to Atlanta. Okay. All my friends is like, you need to move to Atlanta. I'm gonna have me a property in Atlanta, but I'm not no Southern Belle. I'm a New Yorker, and so I'm just gonna have to make things shake here. But the whole point of that is your environment is everything. You are so welcome, sis. Your environment is everything. And y'all, by the way, if this is doing, if it's valuable, if it's doing something for you, please give it a like and a share if this is valuable to you. But I just feel like I've just been talking, child. I've just been talking. But yes, guys, your environment is everything. If you want to change your life, you definitely need to change your environment. If you can't do that physically right now, you can most certainly find some virtual communities to plug into. Like I said, I got into masterminds. But the first mastermind I got into was a mastermind that was located in Atlanta. So I went to a conference in Atlanta, and I love the conference. I love the people. I love the vibe. It was just like I've never been in a room with so many Black millionaires before in my life, right? I'm used to being in New York, and it's very diverse in New York, and it's just a whole different vibe, right? When I went to Atlanta to that conference, it was a traffic sales and profit conference with my coach Lamar, and I was just like, oh, I need to be a part of this community. I know I'm not a Southern Belle, but I want to be a part of this community. And that was the first mastermind I signed up for and completely, literally changed my life. Okay, so shouts out to Lamar Tyler, Ronnie Tyler for just creating that platform and just having me be a part of it. Okay, but that is when everything changed for me, guys. That's when everything changed for me. And like I said, your environment is everything. And I'm gonna leave y'all with this. I am allowing people to come to my intensive, which is my community of women and men who are wanting to open beauty supply stores. And this is going down in March. And we are doing a 40% off of that program. Okay. So as I am going and, entering my 40 and over era, I want to bring some women along the journey with me who you want this to be your best year. You want change in your life. You want an identity shift. Now, I talked a lot about the identity shift in the beginning of this, but this is going to be my best year ever. I'm just going to go ahead and say that now. Like, this is going to be such a quantum leap year for me. And I just feel really positive about it. And I'm just really grateful to be here. Like, I'm here on vacation, surrounded by people who love and support me. And I'm just, I look good. I feel good. I don't look like I have 5 kids. Like, I'm just, I'm just feeling this year. It's just going to be different. Like, you just know when a year's just going to be different. So anyway, for the intensive, it is 40% off today for my 40th birthday. Like I said, I want to bring some women along with me. I want to mentor some women, and literally we just going to be completely unrecognizable in 2027. In 2027, we are going to look back on this year, and we are going to just see the growth and see the change and see the quantum leap that we made in this year, because we decided to invest in ourselves and be intentional. And that's what this year is all about. It's about investing in ourselves, being intentional about making this the best year ever. Okay. And so that starts again with the identity shift and making different decisions. We cannot make the same decisions that we did with the old identity. If we want a new reality, we have to become a new person, and we have to make different decisions. So if you're someone who is used to sitting on the sidelines, and buying Beyonce tickets instead of buying a course or investing in yourself or going to conferences or, hiring mentors, that's the first shift that you need to make. It is always going to be investing in yourself. It's always going to be self-development, personal development, so that you can make the changes that you want to see in your life. Because listen, we don't want to repeat 2025. We don't want to go back there. That will be painful, right? That will be absolutely painful if we have a repeat. If we in 2027 and our 2026 looks exactly like 2025. We don't want that. And so, guys, I want y'all to meet me in Atlanta. I'm dropping the link literally 40% off today for my 40th birthday. Y'all getting 40% off today for my 40th birthday. The link is in the chat, y'all. I am out. Thank you so much for coming on this with me. I'm going to go enjoy my birthday now. Again, like this video, share this with someone who needs these gems. Love you guys so much. I will see you on the next time. Bye.